Hello everyone. Today we will discuss how Indian economy can recover after the COVID-19 crisis. I think three issues are very important. The government investment must increase on education, health sector, research and development. At the same time, in remaining areas, private investment should increase. So today, using a data-driven approach, I'll explain the reason for this statement I have made. All the data is also available on my GitHub page. So what are the factors influencing GDP growth rate? If you understand this, then we can understand how India can achieve high GDP growth rate. So GDP growth rate is defined as an increase in GDP divided by GDP, delta G by G. So I do just simple mathematics. I multiply by delta K, divide by delta. Then I write this as delta K by G multiplied by delta G by delta K. So here I have two factors. First factor is delta K by G. Delta K is capital investment. Delta K is increase in capital investment. How much investment you are doing in the country in a year. So the second factor is delta G by delta K. This is efficiency measure. How much GDP you are increasing by investment. Delta G is your output. Delta K is your input. So this is your efficiency measure. So if you have high efficiency, that means you achieve high GDP. If you have low efficiency, that means you achieve low GDP growth rate. So eta is efficiency of using the capital. So basically we have two factors. One is delta K by G, but G is GDP, which is constant. So you just ignore that because in a year GDP has some fixed value. Now it is $2.9 trillion. So the main thing is how much investment you are making, delta K. This is the increase in your capital investment. The second thing is efficiency of capital usage. How efficiently are you using the capital? If you use efficiently, then the economy will grow. So these two factors we need to focus. Okay, so delta K, increase in capital investment, eta, efficiency of using your capital. So investment is of two types, private investment, public investment. So what is private investment? What is public investment? Private investment means spending your own money for your company. That is private investment. So I'm more responsible about private investment because money belongs to me. Company also belongs to me. The second is public investment. So I'm taking my money, giving it to some government called Yuva Kiran. He is the government. So he is taking my money and then he is giving it to someone else. He is giving to some pinky. You spend this money, you spend it whatever way you want to spend. So there is less responsibility. So this is a very inefficient way to use the money. So first we will consider increase in capital investment. Two parts, private investment, public investment. After 1991 reforms, you can see that private investment is going up. Till 2012, it has gone up. After 2012, the private investment is decreasing. So this is clear why private investment is going up, because before 1991, private companies are restricted from entering into business. So private investment is low. After 1991, private investment increased. But why it is going down from 2012? So this we have to understand critically, because ease of doing business. In India, it's very difficult to start a new business. Why? We have very complicated tax structure. The second, you have very high corporate taxes. Third, the IAS or APS officers, the bureaucrats will torture you if you want to start a business. So that's why it's very difficult to start business. If you see the ranking of India in ease of doing business given by World Bank, it's 132 in 2011. Maybe from 1991, because you have encouraged privatization, people started to open the factories, companies. They thought that India will improve the ease of doing business, but no one tried to improve the ease of doing business. You have very complicated tax structure. So people fed up. They left India, they went to other countries, they earned more profits. In India, whatever profit they are earning, you are taking it in the form of corporate tax, high corporate tax, 30%, one of the highest in the world at that time. But you see that the government expenditure never decreased from 1961 to 2019. the government expenditure more or less remain constant. It's the private expenditure which is driving the economy or which is making the economy fall. So the fall in the economy is not due to government expenditure, but it is due to the private investment. Private investment is decreasing from 2012, which reflected in the Indian economy that decreased from 2016. So how to improve the private investment? Because if you want to achieve a high GDP growth rate, from this graph, you clearly see if you increase private investment, you will achieve high GDP growth rate. So you want to increase the private investment. How to do this? First, you have to improve the ease of doing business. So some reforms are taken by governments. So GST was brought in 2017. One good thing is it avoided tax on taxes, called cost cutting effect on taxes. That means at each stage you are adding tax. You are adding tax already on tax before GST. But after GST, there is only tax at one place. You are not adding taxes on taxes. So clearly this you can see in ease of doing business rankings. India was 134, 131 in 2014-15. But in 2017, you see the rank is 100. 2018, the ease of doing business rank is 77. 2019, it's 63. By 2021, I think this will probably improve because we are doing more reforms. We are reduced corporate taxes in 2019. This is very good thing. We have reduced the corporate tax from 30%, base rate 30% to base rate 22%. And then the second thing, the important thing is, most important thing is farm bills. The 1991 reforms ignored the agriculture sector, but India is dependent on the agriculture sector. The situation in agriculture is farmer cannot sell the product wherever he wants. He has to sell or she has to sell in the mandis. If someone is giving higher price, or if he wants to sell it at higher price, or if he wants to put some e-store and sell, he cannot sell. Even if he wants to sell, he has to pay taxes. He can sell, but he has to pay taxes at the mandi. So this was the problem. So farmer income is not increasing. So keeping the country poor, 65% of the country, 70% of the country dependent on agriculture. So you are keeping the farmers poor from 1947 to 2019 by your restrictions that farmer cannot sell. I'm manufacturing a mobile phone, I can sell wherever I want. So these farm bills, I think, will further improve the ease of doing business ranking. And we should aim to be at top 25 ease of doing business if you want to have real growth in investment. But these reforms are necessary. They are essential. They may not be sufficient, but they are essential. So what are the drawbacks with public investment? What are the drawbacks with private investment? High public investment means government has to spend high money. From where the government gets this money? From taxes, income tax, GST, and so on. So if government wants to spend high money, from whom should this money should come? So mostly from lower middle class and middle class. So these are the one who are giving money. So what happens if they tax more and more? We will become angry. So to increase government investment, you have to tax more. If they tax more, the middle class will become angry. If they want to spend a huge amount of money, then they have to increase the taxes on petrol. They have to increase the taxes on diesel. Then we will be very unhappy and we will be cursing the government. So limitation of public investment means heavy taxes on middle class. So high public investment is not good. Second, inefficient. I'm working only 3 hours. I'm taking salary for 9 hours. 3, corruption and favoritism. There are lots of drawbacks in private investment also. Labor exploitation. So Srama Dopidi we call in Telugu. You are making me work very, very hard, but you are not paying sufficient salary. Or sometimes lack of employee welfare. If you get a job in a government company, if there is job security, government will give me some house to live in. But private companies, they are not giving any houses. So private companies are not thinking about employee welfare. Private companies are exploiting the employees. So there are problems both in public investment and private investment. So what to do? So in the conclusions, I will tell what should be done. But we go to the next factor. So I have said 2 factors: investment efficiency of capital usage. In the investment, we have seen that private investment can increase the GDP. Now we see what about the efficiency of your capital usage. One growth model is called exogenous economic growth model. According to this, growth rate is determined by three factors: capital, your labor, and innovation. The third factor is innovation. How innovatively are you using your capital? So this theory says GDP is determined by law of diminishing marginal returns. How? We will see. So me, Yukiran, we started a company, mobile manufacturing company in 2001, 2002. We started manufacturing mobile phones, normal mobile phones, not smartphones, normal mobile phones. Just we can call, we can't serve internet on this mobile phone. So initially our business is very good. We have increased capital, we are increasing labor. That means we are producing more mobile phones and we are hiring more number of employees in our company. So we are starting to produce more and more mobile phones. Our sales is going higher and higher. The blue curve is increasing. And then from 2002 to 2010, we have done the same thing. Just hiring new people, making more number of mobile phones, selling mobile phones. Right? But then what happened is Penki started a new company. Yeah, Penki started a new company. Penki thought that Baswant and Yukiran are doing stupid things. They are only making normal mobile phones. They are not making smartphones. Internet is there. Why they are making this foolish thing? They started new company. He started new company and made smartphones. So then people started buying things from Penki's company because he has made a technological change. He has innovated. So people started buying things from Penki's company. Then what happened to our growth rate, Kiran? Our growth rate saturated. And then after that, from 2016, 2017, no one is buying from Baswant and Yukiran. Everyone is buying from Penki. So Penki growth rate is increasing. The orange curve is increasing. But after some time, he will also experience this diminishing marginal returns. He will also become saturated. And then his growth will also decrease. So what you will do to increase your growth rate? Your growth rate is also experiencing diminishing returns. Yes. So
we have to do R&D or something like that.
Yes. We have to do R&D. That we have to do innovation, technological change. We have to do. Then only Penki will not experience this marginal returns. Otherwise, Penki will also experience this diminishing marginal returns. Your returns will decrease. Same thing is happening to Indian economy. First it increased after 1991 to 2014 and all, it increased. And then it became little stable. And then now it's decreasing. So other than investment, you have to also focus on innovation. Professor Solo, he showed using calculus that 35% growth rate is due to investment. 65% growth rate is due to efficiency. Efficiency is a function of innovation, that is research and development. So Professor Paul Romer, he is a Nobel laureate in 2018. So he says that in order to achieve innovation, you have to spend in education, research and development. That means diminishing returns, whatever curve we have seen, this applies to physical capital, but it does not apply to human capital. This is what Professor Paul Romer showed. So if you invest in human capital, then your growth rate will increase linearly, not like diminishing returns. Your returns will be constant returns. You continuously increase and you sustain this growth rate if you increase in the human capital or knowledge capital. You try to educate people, you try to skill people, you try to improve research and development, which will lead to innovation. This is what endogenous economic growth model tells. But sadly or unfortunately, India investment in innovation, research and development is very little. So we are not increasing the expenditure. We are increasing the expenditure in absolute terms, but as a percentage of GDP, we are not increasing. So we are not spending money on research and innovation, which according to exogenous and endogenous theories contributes to 65% of GDP. On the contrast, if you see China spends 2.1% of the GDP on R&D. US 2.8% of the GDP and R&D. And I want Penki to comment on this. Israel spends 4.3% of the GDP, 4.3%, high, one of the highest. So the human capital, which contributes 65% to GDP, and India is the country with highest human resources. But we are not spending on these human resources, the knowledge capital. So that's why we are experiencing low GDPs, low GDP growth. Yes. So to finally conclude, so we have seen two factors that will drive growth: capital investment, efficiency of capital usage. In capital investment, we have seen public investment and we have seen private investment. We have seen that public investment need not increase the GDP growth rate, but private investment can increase. But private investment has other drawbacks, like private investment is looting the employees, they're not giving a good amount of salaries to the employees. So, but we cannot stop the private investment. We have to still encourage the private investment, but we have to make some rules so that these private players, they give proper salaries to the employees, they give welfare to the employees, like they give housing to the employees. So increase private investment by giving tax incentives. You can offer tax incentive to those corporates, only to those corporates that follow good wage policy. Then reduce government expenditure, because high government expenditure means high taxes. High taxes means middle class has to suffer. So if you reduce government expenditure, then even Dr. Swami suggested that income tax can be abolished, and taxes on petrol and diesel can also be reduced substantially. If government investment is reduced, that means they don't need more money. So government should be minimum. As our Prime Minister rightly says, government has no business to be in business. Why there is no business? Because there are more important things according to economic theories that government should do, like they should spend on education, they should spend on research and development. These are the important things that government should focus according to any theory of economy put forward by the Nobel laureates. Healthcare is also the primary responsibility of the government, but the primary responsibilities government has left, and government has no role in business according to any theory of economics, but government is doing business. So yes, so this has to be changed. The most important and major part that contributes 65% to the economic growth is scientific and technological innovation. For this, government has to spend money whatever way they can spend, either by increasing taxes or they can spend by sale of PSUs. We have to decide which one is better. Sale PSUs, generate money, put it into health, education, R&D. It's good that government is increasing spending on health, but government is not increasing spending on education and R&D. So they should find ways to do this. Then innovation develops, then this ETA tech, technological efficiency due to technological innovation, that contributes majorly to the economic growth. This will increase and our GDP growth rate will go up to 10%. Government is an umpire. Government is not a player of the game. Government should set rules, laws, and ensure that these rules and laws are implemented through incentives.